Welcome to Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning for Friday, September 12th. I'm your host, Tom Orr. The Ohio game in one day, the game against Michigan in 78 days. If you're planning your next event, make it unforgettable with Grateful Griddle, Columbus's favorite food truck, serving up smash burgers, gourmet sandwiches, and good vibes. Book your catering today at gratefulgriddleoh.com. As the Buckeyes put on their final preparations for the Bobcats, Friday will be best Fridays in football, so the work week is already kind of done for them as they sort of get ready for Saturday night's game against the Bobcats. 7 o'clock, Peacock, you know the drill. In today's show, you're going to get to hear a little bit from Ohio State head coach Ryan Day, some of his final thoughts before Saturday's game kicks off. One of the first questions he got was from our buddy Tony Gerdeman. It was about Julian Sayin's ball placement and how it's sort of seeming like a little thing, but it allows receivers to make some big plays, and how it compares to some of his past quarterbacks at Ohio State.
I think that's one of the things we try to evaluate during the recruiting process and when we're evaluating quarterbacks is ball placement. It's just so important in terms of accuracy. It's one of those things that I've seen some guys develop it as time has gone on, but it's one of those things usually is something that people have. It's innate, and there's anticipation, there's timing, there's touch, there's understanding body language. These are all the things that I think are hard to, quantify. And so that's one thing we really look for in quarterbacks. And I think, you've seen some of the location and another part of it is being able to do it, even though when you see it, can you mechanically make the throw when you need to? And Julian can. You've seen that. So there's more to it than just that, but we've seen him do that in practice time and time again, and that's a good sign for a young quarterback.
Next up, some overall thoughts on the running game, how the guys up front are doing, and are they looking to continue maybe spreading the carries around?
Yeah. I think there's physical play going on. We got to keep building on that, and then figure as we continue to move forward where we see ourselves, and then as the season goes on, how do we stay ahead of the trends and make sure we have enough things that give us explosives? And there's a lot that goes into the run game. Everybody's involved with it. The wide receivers are involved with it. Tight ends are very much involved with it. Obviously, the offensive line, but the running backs are involved with it, and making sure the timing and all those things are right. Again, I thought there was some physical runs in week one, not explosive. We wanted to be more explosive, and so that's what we're going to continue to work on.
One area where the offensive line has been really good so far is in pass protection. They have allowed 0 sacks through 2 games. Can't do much better than that. So, all right, has Ryan Day been happy with the pass pro so far? This is, I'm going to just say right now, this is a great answer. It's a detailed answer, and it goes some places you probably wouldn't expect.
I think the ball's coming out on time, and I think that there's good timing there. We have to continue to figure out ways to get the ball out of the quarterback's hand, but also, push the ball down the field without putting the quarterback at risk. But a big part of that is the work we put in during the week, challenging each other in some of the drills we just got out of, where there's great pass rush and great protection, and there's a timing element to it. There's a lot that comes with it, and even you wouldn't think about that. The back end is involved in pass protection, but we say all the time that when you're running a route on third down, you're running the route against the defensive end, not against the corner, because of the timing of it all. So, I think you'll hear me all the time if you're out of practice. Once it gets to about 2.5 seconds, I'm saying ball. The ball's got to come out, or it's got to get checked down, and the timing of all that is important. So those are all things we're working on, and guys are working up front to get better. We know that there's all kinds of different things that can come in some terms of situations, twists, blitzes, different ways to isolate guys in one-on-one matchups. There's just a lot that goes with it. So we have to continue to get better, and that's the focus, is getting better. I mentioned to the guys today that when you see somebody young, whether it's a brother or a relative or just someone who's young, and you don't see them for 6 months or a year, and you see them and you're like, wow, you've really grown up. And when you're practicing every day, sometimes you don't see the growth, you don't see the progress, but it's there. As long as we continue to work and get better, and we're making sure that the hardest day is today, and we keep getting better, then we'll have a chance to continue to grow, even though sometimes we don't feel it. And that's with everybody, and including the passing game.
Next up, a quick one on the punters. Joe McGuire was the punter, the starter for the first game. Only one punt in last week's game. That went to Nick McLarty. So does that mean there's an ongoing battle for that punting job?
Joey's the starter, but Nick is making progress, and it's amazing when you get out there and you get a live punt, and then he hit some bombs yesterday. So we'll keep a close eye on it, but right now Joey's our punter.
Thought this was an interesting question to ask. This is from the great Tim May. He was asked, Ryan Day has coached at a bunch of places other than Ohio State. He obviously coached in the NFL, but he also coached at smaller colleges like Boston College and even at Temple, where they played as a non-power conference team. They played some pretty big power conference teams during his time there. So when you're on the other side of one of these power conference versus non-power conference team matchups, and you're the one who's going into the game as a big underdog, what's the approach or the goal?
Yeah, you play it one play at a time. I think you look at it as an opportunity to build confidence, to know that you're going up against a really good opponent. That is an opportunity to build confidence, knowing that, sort of like us in week one playing Texas. What an opportunity for us to build confidence, knowing that, we can play with, at the time, was the best number one team in the country. Where are we right now? And, this is a team that went toe-to-toe with Rutgers, went toe-to-toe, obviously, with West Virginia and won the game. So they're going to come in here with a lot of confidence. They're going to, I'm sure, take it one play at a time, try to get the game in the fourth quarter, and then go from there. But it's an opportunity more than anything to again, build confidence for the rest of the season. So, and they're well coached and have a good team. So we know that these guys are going to come in and play real hard.
This is one I just want to get on the record. I was not the one who asked it, but the question that was asked was, there were no pass interference calls for Davison and Igbenogson so far this year. Listen, you can knock on whatever surface you want to if you're a superstitious type, but no pass interference calls on Davison and Igbenogson so far in 2 games this year. So how much work went into that for Davison this offseason?
They're going to happen again, I'm sure, but we certainly don't want as many as we had last year, and that's been the focus. And I think even on that 4th down play that he made in the end zone in week 1, I mean, you could see there was a concerted effort for him to not make contact there. But he's still going to be aggressive. That's who he is, and I think he's learning to control that aggression. We've had different things that Coach Walton's done with boxing gloves and things like that. I think that's all coaching, and we want guys who are aggressive. It's our job as coaches to help coach them to with the technique and those things. And so he's worked really hard in the offseason. He's one of our most competitive guys out there. I think when he came here, he changed that room along with Tim Walton because of just the overall competitiveness of that group and the edginess of that group. And he's not a man of many words, but he lets his play do the talking, and he's a huge leader for us, and we're going to need him here.
If you listen to yesterday's show with Ross Fulton, he broke down the play where Caleb Downs got an interception during that Grambling game. Really an incredible play by Downs and an example of the incredible stuff that Downs can do. So here are Ryan Day's thoughts on that play and whether that's maybe an example of what guys with really high football IQs like Downs and defensive coordinator Matt Patricia can do.
One of the things Matt said to me was, we got some smart guys here, and I think he kind of said it with a smile on his face because, he can do a lot of different things. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's the right thing to do. Just because guys can handle it doesn't mean we need to be all over the place. We need to do what we think is best to win the game. That being said, the thing to me about Caleb was after the play, we talked, and he verbalized everything that went on in that play. He was anticipating everything about it. So that's who he is, and then his approach rubs off on others. Sonny's that way, and you're seeing Jalen McClain, and you see Davison, you see Jermaine, you see all these guys, Lorenzo coming in early to get extra film work and put the work in with Tim and Matt, and that's what winning football is. And if we can continue to build that as our routine, and that can be who we are, it'll give us a chance to reach our goals. But like I said before, it's great when your best players are your hardest workers, and they're the most professional. It's probably the best way to put it when it comes to Caleb.
And finally, this one, we're kind of going full circle on this one because the question was about Julian Sayin's quick release and the fact that that's not something that everyone else has and how valuable that is as you're adjusting to a new role and a new level as Ohio State's starting quarterback. But you'll hear the answer kind of goes full circle back to Tony's question at the beginning about ball placement.
Every quarterback is different. Like you're saying, when you think about the quarterbacks we've had here, you go to different guys. Everybody's had different mechanics and a different style. And what you try to do is, as you put together the offense, is figure out, all right, what fits his skill set, and then you try to take the pieces and put it all together. We're still kind of in that process, but when you can get the ball out of your hand quickly and accurately, as you know, it just makes the offense move faster. And, we say all the time, like those throws within about 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, those are like long handoffs. And, there's a big difference when I'm running full speed on, let's just say, a bubble or a drag route, and that ball's right here and I can catch it in stride, as opposed to having to stop my feet and have to catch it. Like, those are all the hidden yards that we talk about. And, that's a challenge for all quarterbacks. But it's easy to see that, he gets the ball out fast, and we'll continue to figure out what he does best. I think we're getting a good feel for that as he's getting on the field and playing more.
Well, that will do it for today's show. We'll have much more coming up for you. If you have not checked out our video on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Buckeye Huddle, we did a behind-the-scenes video, a multi-camera shoot for the Ohio State marching band's ramp entrance. Had one camera kind of inside the tunnel. You can sort of see underneath the stands what they're doing before they go out. You'll see the band. You'll see the alumni band. We've got a high camera. We got a camera at the flagpole, so they're coming right on both sides of you. Really pretty cool video. Tony and Kevin and I kind of worked together to put that together. So you should definitely check that one out. And again, if you have not watched the last couple morning shows, did the offense and did the Ross defense with Ross Fulton, our X's and O's guru. I think those are both shows you guys will enjoy as well. I get to work with a lot of people who are very good at what they do, which is very, very fun for me, and hopefully very fun for you guys to watch as well. So you can find all that at youtube.com/Buckeye Huddle. And you want to talk to us about it? Well, the great place to do that is at BuckeyeHuddle.com. You can find us all there on the Huddle Board, presented by Jeff Ruby's Columbus, talking about Buckeyes. You want to talk about the band? We're happy to talk about the band. You want to talk about college football in general? We're happy to talk about that as well. Whatever else you want to do. We were sharing travel tips for the upcoming Illinois road game with one of our board members this week. If you want to ask us, we will answer. That's all at BuckeyeHuddle.com. Just sign up today. Membership for just $4.99 for your first month. Get access to our whole team of insiders covering the team, covering recruiting, covering X's and O's, covering the band, whatever you want. We're doing it there at BuckeyeHuddle.com. That'll do it for today. Thank you guys all for joining us. Have a great day. We will talk to you tomorrow.